welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I've decided to do a Jennifer Lopez inspired makeup look since she's such a superstar and we all love her. She always uses more like brown tones and like brown shades and a lot of lip gloss, so that's why I hit the lip gloss. So yeah, if you want to see how I achieved this look, then please keep watching. Okay, so just to be a bit quicker, I already primed and did my base and my brows, but I used the exact same routine as I use always. So I used as a base these two foundations, the Hello Happy and the one from Charlotte Tilbury, the luminous one. And then as a primer, I used the one from Too Faced, the Hangover Primer. I always use this one. And as a concealer, I use the Born This Way concealer. And I think that, oh, and to set my face, I use the RCMA powder. And as a bronzer, I use the Hourglass one. I'm in the shade Radiant Bronze Light, this one right here. And before, I use the cream contour from Huda Beauty. And I'm in the shade Fair, okay? So I did not highlight yet, so I'm gonna do that last. And I'm gonna do my eye look first, so I'm gonna move you a little bit closer and let's get into the J.Lo look.
Okay, so first off, I'm starting with my brush from Better, and I'm just using a little bit of that Too Faced concealer on my eyelids. I don't use an eye primer because this concealer works super good. So I decided to use the Mini Naked 2 palette, and to start off, I'm using the 330 brush from Morphe just because it's super good to blend out eyeshadow. And I'm just placing the eyeshadow in the outer corner of my eyelids. So as you can see, first I'm just patting it and then I'm slowly blending it out. This is like a recipe, you know, you can always add more salt, but you cannot take the salt away, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just working in steps, and yeah, since it's quite a deeper shade. Oh, I don't think I mentioned it, I'm using the shade Frisk. And yeah, since it's like the deepest shade from the palette, I'm working in layers and just adding it bit by bit because I don't want it to like create any harsh lines or anything weird. And next up, I'm switching to my Ubu brush, and I use a smaller brush just because it's easier to get in those like inner corners, and I want to be a little bit more specific. So this is just an Ubu brush. It's like €2-3, but you can use any brush that you like. So I'm taking that same shade Frisk on my lower lash line, and as I said, I keep on working in steps. So first I'm adding it on the lower lash line, and later on I'm gonna add it on my outer corner, on the upper part of my eyelid. And yeah, I'm just working in small steps in order for the shade to blend well and for it not to be like streaky or to have any harsh lines. Next up, I decided to use the Dose of Colors Desi X Kitty collection because I love this palette so much. It's a staple for me. And I'm starting out with the shade Necessary, and I'm just placing it in my crease and using that 330 brush again from Morphe. So I'm just blending it out just to deepen out the crease a little bit more and to make it a bit darker. And I'm working in steps again, always adding a little bit more, blending it out, and then adding a bit more just to like get the right consistency and the right shade. Next up, I decided to use that shade Cheens, I don't know how you pronounce it very well, from that same palette. And I'm using the same Ubu brush again. So I'm just tapping it off a little bit because it's very pigmented and it has a tiny bit of fallout. And as I said before, I'm working in layers, so I'm adding a bit in the outer corner and blending it out, and then adding a bit more. So just working in steps so everything is seamless and super blended. Next up, I decided to use a more specific brush, so I'm using the B75 brush from Morphe, and I'm taking that dark brown shade again called Jeans, and I decided to use it on my lower lash line, a little bit more specific, as if you're adding some liner. So yeah, I'm just adding it just a little bit in the outer part of on my lower lash line, in the outer corner, and like this, it's a little bit more smoky. And then I thought it would be interesting to cut my crease, so I'm taking my concealer on my petal brush from AlexBeauty, and then I'm blending out a little bit the lid. I'm just blending out the shade that was on my lid with my brush from Better, just to make the surface a bit more clean. And yeah, I'm just cutting my crease here, so I'm working in layers. I'm just adding a little bit at a time because I don't want to like ruin it or anything. And yeah, make sure you add just a small layer, then a little bit more, and I'm just cutting like half of my crease. And yeah, as you can see here, my technique is not perfect, but yeah, I'm doing my best. Next up, I'm taking that shade GRWM, I'm assuming it's Get Ready With Me, and I'm using it on my Zoeva 234 brush. It's a petal brush, and yeah, since we used that concealer before, now it sticks perfect to my lid, and it looks super shimmery and shiny and gorgeous. Next up, I'm taking that shade Necessary again on my Ubu brush, and I'm just placing it in the outer part of my lid, just so it blends in with that shade Get Ready With Me, or GRWM, however you want to call it. And I'm adding it in my outer corner and also in my inner corner. And after that, I'm taking my blender brush from Morphe, the 330 brush, and blending it out in the crease. And so what I'm doing is I'm working in layers. So I'm blending it out, adding a bit more of that shimmery shade, blending it out again. And yeah, I'm doing the exact same thing on my other eye. Here I'm taking that B75 brush again from Morphe with that colored jeans, and I'm just adding a little bit more on my lower lash line and also on my lid, as if you're adding liner, just to prepare it for my liquid liner. And like this, it's a little bit easier when you apply the eyeliner because you've already created sort of like a base. And yeah, then I'm using this NYX gel liner on my brush from XO but you can use any brush you want. It just has to be like really thin, and I'm applying it in like the inner part of my eye. And you just want to work in like steps, because if you make here a mistake, then it's going to be really bad. So I'm adding a tiny bit, then I'm adding a bit more, so you know how it goes. And here I'm using no other than my liquid liner from NYX. I'm using the one that's matte. Be careful because they also have one that's satin. So yeah, I'm just creating here a sharp wing. Next up, I'm using my lashes from XO. These are called the Flower Child, and they're super easy to apply because they're half lashes, and I'm just using them with my latex-free duo lash glue. And after that, I'm lining my lips with no other than my BFF lip liner from Colourpop. This is like the perfect nude, and I think I've gone through like 5 of these. I love these so much because they create like the perfect look. So yeah, I'm just lining my lips, and I'm overlining them a little bit just to create a bit of a like Botox effect, or however you want to call it. Here I'm just using my liquid liner from Revolution. This one is in the shade Vow, and it's like the perfect deep, like a deeper nude. I tried it in my haul the other day and I loved it so much, and it's like I think 4 or 5 euros and it lasts all day. So yeah, I've been using it since because I love it so much, and it's super affordable. And then next up, I'm using the liquid lipstick from L'Oreal, the one in Sweet Tooth. And I'm just using that in the center of my lips. And after that, I'm just patting it with my finger because like this, it sort of like blends into the other liquid lips that I'm using. And yeah, make sure you add a tiny bit, then blend it out with your finger, then add a bit more just to get the right consistency. And yeah, I also decided to use some lip gloss. I'm using the lip gloss from Dior, the one in 257 Pearl. And has like a sort of a pinkish sheen to it. It's super, super gorgeous. But yeah, the good thing about this lip gloss is that it doesn't have a very strong color, which is what I wanted. It just has like a light pink color, which is perfect for this look. And then next up, of course, the most important step is highlighting. So I'm using my Marc Jacobs dewdrops, they're called, and I'm just adding a tiny bit on the back of my hand and then using that with the beauty blender. These are quite strong, like they're quite shimmery. And well, not shimmery, it's like a sheen, and you want to work in layers, as I said before. So I'm just adding a bit and then adding a bit more and then blending it out, and I'm using it basically I'm gonna say all over my face, but no, not really. So I'm just using it like on the high points of my face, so like the cheek area and a little bit on the forehead and on the nose and on the chin. Well, basically you can just use it anywhere you want, but these are the areas that I like to use it. And as you can see here, I'm basically glowing for the gods to see. And yeah, it looks really, really pretty. But since these drops are a little bit dewy, I'm using a highlighter just to set it. So I'm using the I think it's called R7 brush. The mark sort of got deleted, but this is the only one that they have from Morphe to highlight, so it's like the gold one. And I'm using the highlighter in C Pop from Ofra. This highlighter is super, super gorgeous, and it's more or less the same shade as the Marc Jacobs one. And I'm also adding a little bit in my inner corners, and I'm spraying my brush with a bit of setting spray just to make it a bit more potent, and so it stays put a little bit longer if you add a bit of setting spray. So I'm just using this one from Catrice. This is the one that has aloe vera, and it smells really, really good.
Okay guys, so this is the finished look. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and don't forget to ring the notifications bell for more videos like this. Let me know which of these products you liked, and see you in the next video, guys. Bye!